step backwards. No, we don't want that.
What do you like to say? Curiouser?
And curiouser.
Curiouser. Well, no more curious.
The inside. Wow.
He's Mike Brown and Gramatica are going after it there.
That's a mismatch.
Going at it.
Back to Shannon, to Ozzy. I want to say to Ozzy. I love Ozzy. To Shannon Sharp. Congratulations, Shannon and Oz. A new tight end receiving mark held by the personable and outspoken Shannon Sharp. 4th and goal from the 1. And speaking of curious, sir. All right, so no one's open, but it's 4th and goal, Tom.
4th down, do what you have to do. Try to run it in, try to do something, get the pressure to come to you on the goal line. Try to make a play.
Then Elvis, thank you. Thank you very much. Anthony Henry, who had 3 interceptions in an earlier game this year, makes the pick there. Then Cleveland's aptly named running back Ben Gay, warming up, rubbing his legs into the end zone. 7 yards, 10-0, Cleveland. Then, thank you. Thank you very much. Devin Bush picks off Elvis. Could go all the way. 43 yards, 17-0, Cleveland. Gerback to Brandon Stokely. A circus can't see the Ravens could do this too. 21-yard touchdown, 17-7. 6 minutes left before the half. 20-7, Gerback. Elvis, thank you. Thank you very much. Henry picks it off, his 3rd of the game. Butch Davis is, and wait a minute, Elvis crying in the chapel? It was a hit, wasn't it? 3rd and 8, Tim Couch, picked off by Rod Woodson. There are great careers, and there are great careers like the one by Woodson, the 8th NFL player ever to get 60 interceptions in his career. Then Elvis, the #1 draft pick, Todd Uriah Heath, 24 yards, his first career TD, 20-14. Under 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. Thank you. Thank you very much. Courtney Brown strips Elvis of the ball. Browns recover. But the next play, watch this. Tim Couch in business. Doink. Intercepted by Mike McCrary after Adelius Thomas knocks it away. Leads to a field goal, 20-17. Couch's pass. There goes Ray. Almost had it, Tom.
And without the catch, look at everything he does well. The great read on the screen, the great break on the football. No one more disappointed than Ray Lewis.
Then, after the gift, 4th quarter, under 8 minutes to go, Quincy Morgan completes the pass from Couch, 11 yards. Couch on a key 4th and 1. The end around, it's Dennis Northcutt. Northward, 12 yards for 1st down. Then, Ben Gay really warming up. 21 yards down to the 2. You got to give it to Ben Gay. He works all 4 quarters, but all of a sudden upended by Jamie Sharper. Ben Gay needs Absorbine Jr. So we give it to Jamel White. Touchdown. 27-17, Cleveland. Butch Davis, thrilled. Brian Biller changing the phone number as the Cleveland Browns have beaten the Ravens twice this year. The team that moved out from Cleveland, another party on the flats. 27-17, the Browns have done it. Sal Palantonio at the game with Tim Couch.
Okay, Boomer, thanks. Tim, what does it mean for this franchise, a young team like this, to come back and win this ball game here in Baltimore?
It means a lot to this team. They were talking all week that, they didn't expect us to be this good of a team when we beat them earlier in the season, and to come in here and do it again, it's just a huge step for our football team.
There were many big plays in this game, but none bigger. 4th and 1, the reverse.
Right.
How did you pull that off?
Well, we just seen something in film all week that we could take advantage of that in short yardage situations. Dennis Northcutt did a great job of getting around the end. The guys got their blocks, and it worked out for us.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Sal. Appreciate it.
Back to you, Chris.
All right, Sal, Tim Couch, thank you very much. Very efficient, although, 3 turnovers. Couch. We'll get to Baltimore. I think I figured out this AFC blackjack division, which we'll also explain later, okay? Over the last 6 years, Pittsburgh, then they couldn't beat Jacksonville, but then they couldn't beat Tennessee, but then they couldn't beat Baltimore. Now Baltimore can't beat Cleveland. Why?
Well, I think certainly when you talk about the Cleveland Browns, let's talk about a great young team and the maturation process that their quarterback, Tim Couch, has gone through, along with the coaching staff. Butch Davis doing a great job of bringing these young kids along. Quincy Morgan, Kevin Johnson, a defense that was already good, that as soon as they got back Courtney Brown, they became better. They became a big play defense. And I think the big thing you take away chemistry-wise for this game, for the Cleveland Browns, is we didn't play our best football on the road against the defending world champions, and we managed to come away with a win.
After suffering 2 heartbreaking overtime losses.
That's right.
Now, as for Baltimore, Trent Dilfer, 11 straight wins to end the season. Brian Billick, the Ravens, adamant that Elvis Grbac was an upgrade at the quarterback position. He still may be, but adamant may be an interesting word when you listen to Shannon Sharpe afterwards.
There's a reason why Brian went out in the free agent market and paid Elvis, because obviously he feels the guy that can pull the trigger and can make it happen for us. And, you know, 10 games into the season, it hasn't happened the way we would like it to. But, you know, 6-4, I think that's what we are. We get a chance to get on the road next week and get this taste out of our mouth. But I'm very disappointed. I can't really say what I really truly feel.
Well, what a surprise, a Sharp, outspoken, and very disappointed, although in that division, all these games, I mean, are won and lost by the turnovers. Baltimore's been doing this too much, Tom. 5 turnovers today.
Very quickly on Elvis, I think you can't help but make the comparison between he and Trent Dilfer, who took him to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. Too many turnovers, especially in the red zone. The key to this team's success is protect the football and allow other elements of your football team to win. Yes, they lack a consistent running game every week, but you can't afford to get in a position to score and have Elvis do with the football what he's doing with it now.
Well, in this AFC blackjack division, you get 10, 13, hit me, 16, hit me, but it's 17, stick. That's what I mean by that. That's right. Stick. And so now we see 2 other teams in the AFC Central, the Titans and the Bengals. The Bengals, remember, began the year at 2-0, and they were rolling. But what does Jeff Fisher's team need to do after the last play fiasco at home on Monday night? Well, the first play, it's a fiasco. But from the Bengals' point of view, Derek Mason, 1 yard deep in the end zone. Neil Racker's not going to get him. No one's going to get him. So one play, they have a 7-0 lead. Tennessee on the road at Cincinnati. Third quarter, 10-7 Tennessee. Steve McNair. Kevin Dyson with a nice catch. Mark Roman playing Greco-Roman defense doesn't work. 17-7 Tennessee. Now, Eddie George is rarely fumbles, but Artrell Hawkins with the hit, and Tony Williams recovers.
Outstanding power back that runs in between the tackles. Balls always being touched, but more fumbling from Eddie George than we have seen from him in his career.
But there we see another sack from Javon Kersey. He's got 9 on the year. John Kitna, 3rd and 13, picked off by Keith Bullock. Bengals had us fooled for a while. They're still better than they usually are, but now they're starting to fall toward the bottom of that division. Cincinnati slipping below 500, falling to 4-5. At Tennessee with the same mark with a game against first place Pittsburgh. Coming up next, we'll see 20-7 Titans.
Yeah, and I think as far as the Titans concerned, a football team that has a lot of pride, the Bengals are still learning how to win.
When we return on NFL Primetime, Seattle on the road in Buffalo. Did they win it? Go over 500. Jeff Garcia, what does he have in his bag of tricks this time for the Niners?
It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
The Bills at home on a momentous day because the first of the great teams of the 90s, Jim Kelly, had his number retired. There's son Hunter, wife Jill, his 2 daughters. Jim and his dad are the big jersey number 12. Retiring his number, putting him on the wall of fame.
I love you all. This is the greatest thing that could ever happen in my life, but it took everybody pulling together in this city. This is one big family. Thank you very much. I love you all.
Hey, from all of us here at
Congratulations to
ESPN,
Jimbo.
Way to go, Jimbo. As the crowd, big crowd, much better than expected, on to see one of their favorite sons. Now, ball game, 10-10, third quarter. Matt Hasselbeck finds Sean Alexander, touchdown Seahawks. They're up 17-10. He was ruled out at the 1, but he scored in the next play. Alex Van Pelt playing now because Rob Johnson's hurt. Surprise, bobbled, and Antonio Cochran recovers a fumble, setting up a field goal. The Bills are down 23-13. Under 2 minutes to go. Van Pelt has him at the 22, though, and a screen to Larry Self-Setters, breaking the all-time running back receiving yards record held by ex-Buffalo Bill Ronnie Harmon of 6,093 yards. Congratulations to Centers. Oh, by the way, you're down 10. So Van Pelt to Jay Reamersma. Hey. 3-point game, 23-20. Everyone in the building knows it's an onside kick. But the guy to recover it was in the broadcast booth, Steve Tisker at Tasker. Instead, it's Sean Springs. He recovers Seahawks win by the count of 23-20. The Bills, who used to never lose at home, have now lost 7 straight at home despite over 300 yards passing for Van Pelt. Alexander almost 100.
Yeah, Mike Holmgren bringing this young football team along. Hasselbeck at the quarterback position. And I can't tell you how important I feel Sean Alexander is. Those 25 carries for 93 yards.
The San Francisco 49ers, Bills and Niners in the same section, Tom. I got to like it. George Seifert, well, he's 4-1 against his old team, even though Carolina's 1-8 going in against the 6-2 Niners. And we've seen this all year. Jeff Garcia, Terrell Owens, 45 yards. Third quarter, the Niners are down 6, but in business. Same drive, first and goal for the 9. Garcia rolling, buying time, finds J.J. Stokes, 9-yard touchdown, 14-13, San Francisco. Same score, fourth quarter. Boy, Doug Evans has made a pick in 8 of his last 9 games. He's got 8 for the year. Unbelievable. Carolina driving. Chris Winkie, hurt last week. Back this week, Winkie Dinky does it. To Wesley Walls, 24 yards, 2-point conversion good. 19-14 Carolina.
Wesley Wall is going to be working on Jason Webster here. Watch the move outside. Gives him the head fake right there. Shakes him outside. Comes back in. Webster made the nice spin move to try to get back to the play. A little bit late. Walls for the touchdown.
Minute left in the game. Niners down 19-14. Garcia to tie streets. Keeps the drive alive. 12 seconds to go. Now 22-14. Eric Johnson down to the 7 from Yale. And then Garcia with 6 seconds to Terrell Owens. Touchdown. So the Niners down 8 with 1 second to go. Are now down 2. 22-20. Got to go for 2, obviously. Garcia stutters. Derek Johnson from Yale. 22 all. The Niners 8 points on just about the last play of the game. They win the toss. Overtime. 4th overtime game for the Niners this year. Garcia. Owens. 8 yards. First down. Next play. Garcia. Owens. 15 yards across midfield. Terrell 7 catches, 99 yards. 3 plays later, Garrison Hurst. He ran for close to 100. Looking like the Garrison Hurst of old. Why go out of bounds with the
and that's the point. He didn't look to find the sideline. He cut back inside, got extra yardage.
On second down, Jose Baby Cortez. Good. It's good. The San Francisco 49ers are 7-2. They win at Carolina 25-22. Fourth quarter comeback this year for Garcia. Ties Montana's team record. 4 overtime games by the Niners. Record 83 Packers 5.
Garcia outstanding. Owens outstanding. I think unexpected. J.J. Stokes coming along, giving them some possessions and some productivity from the offside receiver position.
When we return, Atlanta thinking upset at Lambeau. Emmitt Smith back to the Cowboys upset the Eagles. Stay with us. Atlanta Falcons going to Green Bay to play Brett Favre, and the Packers Favre 62-9 at Lambeau Field. This one would be easy. Falcons, though, do lead in the second quarter, and Chris Chandler back as a starter hits Bob's sister, Christian, who white stakes his way into the end zone, barreling over Sharper and Williams. Wait a minute, 13-3 Atlanta? Is there a mistake? 3.5 to go. 16-3 Falcons. Favre, how many times have we seen him do it? It's the last few minutes of the first half. Forget last 2 minutes of game. Last 2 minutes of the first half. 56 yards, Corey Bradford. Favre. And talk about street ball to Billy Schrader. Touchdown 16-10.
Yeah, and just watch the expertise of Brett Favre. He's going to scramble. He knows he's going to get hit here. Puts great touch on the football. Puts it right where Schrader needs to have it. And look at the defensive lineman. Look at him right there. He's like, what is that happening?
Now here's a big series of events. 3rd and 12 for the Falcons. Ephraim Salam throws McBride off of Chandler. But number 31, Chris Akins, comes in. And immediately he's going to get flagged 15 yards. They're hitting Salam. Akins called for a personal foul. So in 3rd and 12, they get a gift first down to Mike Sherman. As he should, goes over to Akins and says, what are you doing? It would cost big time. Because 9 minutes to go. Later in the drive at the 12. Chandler to Brian Finnegan, touchdown, 23-13 Atlanta at Lambeau. Now under 7 to go. Favre, what could possibly happen? Brett Favre is behind at Lambeau. Antonio Freeman, touchdown, 39 yards. He now has 274 for his career, passing Joe Montana for 6th on the all-time list. Congratulations, Brett. But there's work to do. Minute and a half to go, down 23-20. Far. You know what's coming. Far. To Bill Schrader. 18 yards. Ryan Longwell warming up. We need a field goal, then we go to overtime. We'll figure it out then. But at the 45, Bart says, forget the field goal. Let's go for the homer. But it's Ashley Ambrose with the pick. And a bizarre throw by Brett Philly, and Atlanta with a major upset. Green Bay's 9-game Lambeau winning streak gone. 23-20 Atlanta.
A throw we don't understand from Brett Favre, but let's give Dan Reeves' team credit. They've gone into New Orleans and won a game. They've gone into Green Bay and won a game and fought a lot of adversity along the way.
By the way, Atlanta 5-4.
There you are.
Eagles at the Cowboys. Andy Reid. That's when the last three against Dallas. Evan Smith back. Bobby Taylor stripped, and what a play by the defensive back Taylor to cause the fumble.
Yeah, Bobby Taylor realizes that he can't make the tackle right here, and just look at him, hands on the ball, use all his body strength to get it out, get the football for your team.
So Deuce Staley, 145 last week. Here's a 10-yard run here. Second and goal at the 2, Donovan McNabb. You can run, you can play action, then Chad Lewis, the Pro Bowl tight end, 7-0 Philly. With the score 10-0 Philly, a minute to go in the second. Staley. 13-yard run, help sets up one of 5. David Greenacre's field goals, 13-0 Philly. Now, in the last play of the half, at your own 40, Ryan Lee throws a square out. What are you kidding me? Jeremiah Trotter races 50 yards, touchdown, the game's over, 20-0.
Well, it is a touchdown for Lee, though, in a way. But certainly, you look at the break that Jeremiah Trotter makes on the ball right there, never open, and hard to imagine that even if you make the catch, you're not going to turn the ball up and get extra yardage.
Ryan Leaf, then sacked by Derek Burgess. 13 sacks for the Eagles against the Cowboys last 4 games. With 3 minutes to go, you said he threw 2 touchdowns, right?
Yes.
Well, Emmett, not happy. And it would be less happy when, oh boy, William Hampton. He could go all the way to the Hamptons. 33 yards. Here comes Philly. Here they come. 36-3. The Eagles sliced and diced the Cowboys. Deuce Staley with 102 yards. Philly now with a lot of yards on offense, but they bring that defense every week, Tom.
Well, bring the defense every week, Jim Johnson and the blitzing, but I think that Deuce Staley giving this team some balance with his running now. A couple of games over 100 yards, and Chad Lewis, the Pro Bowl tight end, getting back into the active play for his quarterback, Donovan McNabb.
Offensive numbers don't look great. First place standing at a 6-3 shirt. Colts at 4-4. Saints, 2 playoff teams from last year. Both need to make a move. Peyton Manning, jaw broken, new face mask. Archie Manning, his dad's banner hanging next to Pete Maravich. In the Superdome, I'll tell you what, both could wheel and deal, could they not? Peyton Manning, play action to Marcus Pollard. 86 yards on the first play of the game. 7-0 Colts. They would lead early, 14-0. Now it's a 14-10 game, second quarter. Idris Bashir's going to try and stop Ricky Williams. I don't think so. 16-yard run. Same drive. Aaron Brooks, play action. Boy, this is pretty. Evades 1, evades 2, gets a block, and lopes in. Wow. 7 yards, 17-14 Saints. 14 seconds left in the half. Watch closely. Manning to Marvin Harrison. First, he tries to call timeout. Problem, Colts don't have any. Tick, 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 tick. 4, 3, tick, fake, fakes. Jim Moore watching fakes the spike. Wait a minute, I didn't spike it. I'm going in for a touchdown. Wait a minute, hold everything. Joe Jitsu to Dick Tracy, hold everything. Haslett on the field. What happens here, Tom?
Well, you look at the clock, you see it appears that Manning actually gets the snap before the clock is over, is done, does a great job of faking the spike. He's claiming that I had some time on the clock. The refs rule an inadvertent whistle, and that's always the safe call for the officials.
Because they thought he spiked the ball, so inadvertent whistle, put a second back on the clock. Vanderjack kicks a field goal. We're tied at 17 at the half. Meanwhile, third quarter. Look at Joe Little Bighorn With Ricky Williams in motion, he would come back into play. Boy, Horn can make things happen in the open field, and so can Ricky.
Yeah, and then when Horn cuts back, as you say, Ricky comes back into play. A great block right there to get Horn down to almost the 15-yard line.
57-yard pickup, same drive. Aaron Brooks, very athletic. Boy, that's a sing to Eddie Boo Williams. They all cheer in New Orleans. Saints lead 24-17. Score 27-20, Ricky Williams. 4.5 to go. Boom! 14 yards. And the Saints march to a 34-20 win over the Colts. The Saints at home had not done very well at all. As a matter of fact, going in, they had been just won one of, they were 1-2, but in this game, the Colts, it's still a quandary. What's happened to them?
Well, I think two things strike me about this game. Certainly the Colts are struggling. I think they will without Edgerrin James. When you look at the New Orleans Saints, though, a resilient team, just like Jim Haslett and Aaron Brooks, maturing into the outstanding quarterback they want.
Meanwhile, we go to the AFC East for the New York Football Jets. That beat the Dolphins 7 straight. And look, Fireman Ed for the Thanksgiving holiday is in Miami. Why not get a tag? Jay Fiedler, Dolphins didn't want to talk about that 7-game losing streak. Well, we're going to beat him. So Lamar Smith, 5 yards. He's only averaging 2.9 a carry. But they're committed to run it anyway. Why not? Smith, 6 yards. Later in the drive, Smith, 7 yards. Setting up 2nd and 3 at the Jets 39. So Jay Fiedler going to mix it up a little bit and going to swing it to James McKnight. But he hits it in the helmet and into the hands of Aaron Glenn. He makes a move on Fiedler and he could go all the way. 60-yard gift. Jets lead 7-0.
Yeah, and watch James McKnight's helmet. This ball not only gets through his hands, you saw the helmet pop, then he had a hard time refocusing on the football, and a great play by Aaron Glenn to stay with the play, get the ball, and get to the end zone.
Sometimes time of possession means nothing. Jets under 3 minutes, they get a 7-0 lead. Now trying the second quarter, 3rd and 6. The NFL's leading rusher, Curtis, my favorite, 14 yards. He had 66 on the day. Look at the double play action for Vinny Testaverde to Lavernius Coles. Beautiful play, Jets. 17 yards, 14-0 J-E-T-S.
We're going to take a look at both ends of this play. First, you're going to see Jason Taylor rushing from the right side. He's focused on the fake up the middle, the reverse action, so there's no pressure on Vinny Testaverde. Gives Lavernius Coles an opportunity to make 3 moves to get to the back of the end zone for the catch.
So 14-0 this time. The Jets have the lead. Miami has to play comeback. So is the Jets coming back? Fiedler to Chris Chambers. Time has come today. 12-yard pickup. Fiedler around to Gadsden. 10 yards, first down. 4th and 1, Jets 32. Fiedler rolling right. He only needs a yard. Unfortunately, he used just 1 foot. Victor Green tips it, and he's gone. Can it be again? Yes. Jets gangrene defense scoring again. 63 yards, 21-0 New York.
Spot shadow on Victor Green down at the bottom of the screen. See him keeping leverage on what he believes will be a run. Finally makes a commitment toward Jay Fiedler. Fiedler just couldn't get the ball over him. That's a great play by Victor Green.
So now the Ray Mickens flies in. Fiedler fumbles. Eric Obagu, number 99, falls on it. Teddy Cottrell, you saw him do the Jackie Gleason. Away we go. That's Teddy, the Jets defensive coordinator. Meanwhile, 4 turnovers, Fiedler. The Jets roll 24-0. Our man Mortimer at a ball game with Victor Green. Mort?
We're the team to beat right now, man, and we've been playing great the last 3 weeks, and we just got to continue that way. We got to come back from the bye, continue to play this way, and I think we'll be the team to beat.
First shutout here at Dolphin Stadium since 1970. Yeah. You've won 8 straight games against them. Are you inside their heads?
I think so. The guys didn't want to talk to us today, man. And Jason Taylor, a good friend of mine, you know, pushing me around. But, you know, I think we got the numbers right now. We got to play our first round of the playoffs. We just come to New York. We'll just beat them there, too.
All right, Victor, thanks. Let's go back to you, Boomer.
All right, Moore, thank you. So the Jets have now won 4 in a row. The New York Jets of Herman Edwards are in first place, Tommy, at 7-3. The New York Football Jets are in first place, growing despite Today, again, shaky offensive numbers.
Well, you talked about the lack of meaning in time of possession. I think this football game came down to just what we talked about on Countdown this morning, which is turnover ratio. When you talked about the Miami Dolphins, they were last in the AFC in turnover differential at -9. They are now at -14. When you talk about the Jets, they were at the top of the NFL at +17. They're now at +22. It is the difference in the football game, and not only the turnovers, but 2 of them led directly to touchdowns. So it's the kind of thing that the Miami Dolphins knew they couldn't afford coming in.
And a division that is wide open. Hello, say the New York Jets will run in the door. Because as Tommy talked about inside the numbers, Miami's propensity to turn the ball over, as they did again today 5 times. The Jets with a +5, Dolphins -5 for the season, +22 versus -14. Oh, by the way, 8 straight wins. Jets over Dolphins, +15 New York.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Somebody had to win this. Lions and Cardinals. Actually, it was a pretty fun game. And Tony Banks injured. Skins certainly would have no shot at Denver. I mean, after all, Marty was coaching there, right?
Presented by Miller Lite.
0-8 Detroit at 2-6 Arizona win. You know, it was probably the most entertaining game of the day. Too bad about 50,000 people came disguised as empty seats to watch Marty Morningweg and the Detroit Lions try to get off the schneid. Tom 7-7, Ron Rice, helmet to helmet with tight end Steve Bush. Rice carted off. X-rays negative. That's fortunate. Hospital cautionary region. Meanwhile, Plummer, David Boston, playing for Arizona so nobody knows it. But what a season he's had. A 13-yard touchdown. Arizona is tied at 14.
Yeah, and nothing more in tackling important than in the red zone than tackling, and watch the 3 Lions down inside the 10-yard line, all with a chance to get Boston. But realize he is one of those big, huge, physical receivers that we're seeing so much of in the NFL.
Down 21-14, Tom, Jake the Snake. Buying time, Plummer, Frank Sanders, good coverage, 68 yards. Sanders pulls up with a hamstring injury, but they tie the game anyway at 21. Even though you make a big play, you get hurt. That's what happens when you're 2-6. Charlie Batch to Johnny Morton. What a catch between defenders. And he gets up, and he goes down to the 1-yard line. No one touched him, Tom.
Well, let's take a closer look at the play because it is a great one-handed catch by Johnny Morton, and then the presence of mind to realize I haven't been touched. Let's get as much yardage as I can.
Sloan with a touchdown, 28-21 Detroit. Here's Jake Plummer to Marte Jenkins. Down to the 10. What a bunch of big plays here. I mean, if you want entertainment, this was your game. Plummer, Jenkins, Ote Marte. Touchdown, 35-31 Arizona. So here's Charlie Batch. Ball tipped by the Swami's cousin, Kwame Lassiter. Fred Wakefield. Touchdown, Cardinals, 42-31. Down 45-38. Batch, Larry Foster. Here come the Lions. 2:19 left. Batch. Picked off by Lassiter. So despite 36 of 62 for 436, 3 touchdowns, the Lions are going to play on national TV on Thanksgiving 0-9, losing 45-38.
Almost 800 yards of passing, but you just cannot win football games most times when you throw over 60 passes.
So now we go to Marty Schottenheimer at Denver. Marty figures I'm in the NFC. I don't have to go to a place where I'm 2-10. Wrong. Washington's at Denver. Cold, rain, little snow. You love this, Tom. Bronco fans love this. Marty knows it's going to be trouble. But wait a minute, it is a new stadium, isn't it? So keep that in mind. Tom Ruin punts. Eric Metcalf drops it. Keith Burns recovers. Marty's seen this before. Denver in business. 3rd and goal. Late second. Brian Greasy, Rod Smith, touchdown. 10-0 Broncos. Oh, no. Not again. Next possession, Washington. Tony Banks. Drilled by Leon Lett as to be carted off the field. Head and neck were braced. Concussion, though, so that's a good report after a very scary sight. Greasy to Desmond Clark. He loses it. LeVar Arrington recovers. 3rd quarter, here come the Skins behind Kent Graham. To Michael Westbrook, 5-yard touchdown, 10-10. 4th quarter, same score. Graham to Zarin Flemister from Iowa. Flemister coughs it inside the 5. And then Flemister in the back of the end zone. 3 yards. Touchdown. Graham to Flemister. Just like all those great Redskins combinations. 17-10. Greasy hit by Marco Coleman. Marty, congratulations. He's 1-0 in Invesco. The Broncos fall to 5-5, and no one has gone longer without a loss than the Washington Redskins, who have 4 straight wins and a bye dating back to Week 5. Amazing.
Yeah, change of venue, but I think also change of talent for the Denver Broncos. A lot of people not there. An amazing job that Marty Schottenheimer has done in terms of getting this team back on track mentally.
Mutiny? Why we have mutiny if we're smelling the playoffs? Can you believe that? Meanwhile, when we return, Kendrell Bell and the Steelers smell the playoffs. Can the Bucs get it going against the first-place Bears? Rams, the greatest Sunday night football game on earth, as the Rams, Patriots, bottom of the hour. Jaguars and the Steelers, the first-place Pittsburgh Steelers at 6-2. Mark Brunell unexpectedly not starting. Sore right quadriceps. So the medicine man, Jonathan Quinn, gets the surprise start. Up 3-0, Cordell Stewart scrambling 18 yards in the dark at Pittsburgh, but it's a flag for taunting here, Tom.
Well, you saw the words that I think Cordell Stewart had for him right at the end of this play. Obviously, he gets grabbed, and there were some words exchanged, but it wasn't one of those exchanges that usually will draw a flag.
Well, it helped to keep Pittsburgh the only field goal 6-0. Kendrell Bell, though, what an impression this rookie has made, forcing the fumble by Quinn. Steelers ball, screen, Cordell Stewart to Hines Ward. And you just can't catch up to Hines at Heinz Field. You just can't do it. It's a touchdown, 13-0. Pittsburgh all the way to the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah, let's take a look at the spot channel here. Troy Edwards with a great block in between the 20 and the 15-yard line on Marlon McCree, the rookie safety for the Jags.
Well, we saw the Skurback cough it up, but Elvis is in the building. This is Elvis Joseph. Another Elvis has hit the scene. A lot of Elvis impersonators after all. 95-yard touchdown. So the kick, boy, did we see enough return game in the return game today? All over the league, 13-7. Joey Porter hits Quinn. Casey Hampton, the rookie, falls on it at the 21 to the chagrin of Tom Coughlin. Then look at this run, Jerome Bettis. Wow, look at the moves by Bettis. Oh, look at the moves by Bettis. 40-yard run. Bus in the passing lane. Stewart, you know he can do this. Touchdown quarterback draw. Pittsburgh. See, you get over 17, stick in this division. Stick. You don't need to go any higher. You win it. Don't need blackjack insurance. Steelers beat the Jaguars 20-7. They're 7-2 with the same formula.
Yeah, and Cordell Stewart getting more and more confidence every single week. 266 yards today to 21-33. He is becoming the quarterback they need to go to the playoffs and then deep into the playoffs.
Hines Ward could become a big player as we move along. 9 catches for 112 for the Steelers. Tampa Bay at 4-4 needs to beat first place Chicago. Well, they've beaten 5 in a row all the way back to the old sombrero. Jim Miller to Marty Booker, nailed by John Lynch, but Booker holds on. Touchdown, despite the hit 7-6 Bears.
Yeah, gets drilled right there at the goal line by Lynch, but the rest of the Bucs come, and they're hitting him from the backside and knock him into the end zone.
First touchdown for the Bears in 20 quarters by their offense against Tampa. They like it so much, they're going to keep doing it. Miller to Booker, third quarter, 14-9, Chicago. And then, Tommy, look at this. As Rondé Barber got caught up and stopped on the play.
Looking back into the backfield to see what's going on behind you. Receiver running by you on the sideline.
Later in the third with the score 14-9, Bears play action. Jim Miller to Marty Booker. Book him, Dano. 66 yards. You thought when Robinson went out, the Bears had no deep threat. False. 21-9 Bears. 3 TDs for Booker. Fake punt. Mark Royals to Aaron Stecker. That famed Royals to Stecker passing combination, not what the Bucs needed. leads to a Bears field goal, 27-16, 9 minutes to go. Brad Johnson, Warwick Dunn spinning near the goal line. Next play under 3 minutes. Johnson, touchdown. 2-point conversion, good. 27-24, Bears. 2 minutes left. Johnson. Parrish the thought. Tony Parrish picks it off. Comeback over. But not so fast. Tampa's beating the Bears. 6 of the last 7. The A-Train Anthony Thomas fumbles. Here we go again. So the Bucs have a chance. 11 seconds left. 0-46. Brad Johnson to Dunn. Gets out of bounds. Personal foul on R.W. McQuarters. So now that puts them in field goal range for Martin Gramatica. 48 yards. Is it long enough? It is, but it's off the upright. No good. And the Bears saying to Gramatica, you're not running around. Joe Marciano, special teams coach, have that upright move, please. Boy, what a stunning loss for the Tampa Bay Bucs, and what a thrilling win for the Chicago Bears. They don't need a miracle. This is a team that's embarrassed them, and with the Packers losing, the Bears alone in first at 7-2. Wow, the Chicago Bears deep game with Jim Miller today.
Well, I think that's the big change in game plan. You watch this football team over the last couple of weeks. What you see is a ball club that threw most of their passes within 5 yards at the line of scrimmage because they didn't have Marcus Robinson. They didn't have the ability to get the football deep down the field. Today, they found Marty Booker, and now you're going to have to guard every area of the field. They're hitting you vertically now.
And now when you get behind, here's Tampa, who needed to run the ball, those big defensive tackles in the hot weather. They end up throwing 56
Knew it was going to be tough to run the ball.
56 passes. So Johnson threw for 399, but now all of a sudden, Tampa Bay at 4-5, heading into a Monday night game at St. Louis. This could be Armageddon for this team. They either step up and play the ball that the Bucs, we've seen them, and we were waiting for them to come up with this year, or it could be very nasty, very ugly on that Monday night game with a team that's had Super Bowl aspirations, now wondering if they can get it together at all. It'll be very interesting to watch that game. When we return, Rich Gannon hasn't thrown an interception since opening week, and then we got game balls. We got Raiders, Chargers highlights too.
Mommy Day.
More to come.